Top 11. Let's bring in Oliver Slope. Oliver's with Blue Line Futures. And Oliver, looking through the notes today, what about commitment of traders? Is that something that we've been focused on? Is it something to focus on?
Well, it's certainly something to keep an eye on. Friday's commitment of traders report showed funds were net short 17,000 futures and options contracts for the corn market, which was the smallest net short since August of 2023. So they have been trimming back their short bets, but it's really just a neutral position here. And I think some of the funds may be waiting to get more news. We've got an election this week. We've got a Federal Reserve meeting this week. So a lot of different outside market catalysts. And then on top of that, we've got South America growing and crop progress down there, which is going to be pivotal going forward. I find the corn market really quite interesting. Last week, we were able to defend 409 to 410 very, very well. And I think that's going to act as pretty good support through this week's trade. And so long as we can defend that on a closing basis, I think we could potentially continue to carve out higher lows and higher highs. The next upside objective here, 424, that was the recent highs. If we can get out above there, really think that could spur some additional buying from the funds, potentially get us back to those October 2nd highs near 434.
Okay, so on corn, month over month, down 1.7%. Beans are down 3.25%. 9% lower on soy meal, and I'll land the plane here. Soy oil up 4.3%. Why the uptick in soy oil when we see pressure in the other markets there?
Yeah, that's been a high-flying market here recently. It's something that we're keeping a close eye on. The soybean market has just gotten a lot of attention here recently, as I think a lot of traders and participants have been concerned that if we see, a president come in that's going to implement tariffs, that could potentially put headwinds into the market. On top of that, we've got, as mentioned in the corn segment, we've got South American growing conditions to keep an eye on as well. Just a month or so ago, we were worried about Brazil not being able to get completely planted. The most recent report that we've seen shows Brazil is now 54% planted, and that's the second fastest on record, only to 2018, 2019. So all eyes are on South America. If they get good weather down there, they can put out a pretty decent crop. I think the upside could be somewhat limited. From a technical perspective, though, 1020, that's going to be the big line in the sand for the January contract. If we can get out above there for whatever reason, and maybe there isn't one, maybe that spurs some additional technical buying from some of these algorithmic trading systems, and we could potentially see the market work higher. But until we get out above 1020, I think the bears have a little bit of an advantage here.
Okay, Oliver, hang on. We'll take a break, come back and talk livestock futures, i.e. cattle and hogs. Next, Market Day Report continues in a moment. 20. That's down 12. Let's bring back in Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. And Oliver, I jotted down some notes from your column this morning. Seasonal tendencies. And really, we have seasonal tendencies in every market. But do we have some clear seasonal tendencies when it comes to cattle?
Cattle, historically, the first week or two of November can be a little bit volatile, but we tend to firm up in the back half of the month. One thing I would mention is the commitment of traders report. You touched on it briefly in the grain segment, and there's really kind of ho-hum in the grains, but livestock, it's been really interesting to watch. Live cattle and lean hogs. For December live cattle, funds been buyers for 7 consecutive weeks, taking the commitment of traders net long position for funds to over 100,000 contracts. That's the largest net long since September of 2023. And when you get funds overextended like this, it doesn't mean the market can't keep going higher or that the funds can't keep buying. It just means that there is risk of long liquidation if there were a hiccup to arise. And this week, we have a few different catalysts that could pose that hiccup. We've got an election this week and a Federal Reserve meeting that could potentially put a little bit of volatility into the markets. And then looking over at the lean hogs, the commitment of traders report 107,000 contracts net long, which is a new record long. And again, it puts that risk of long liquidation back in play. The chart, very, very strong, but has been lingering in overbought territory for about a week or two. So again, a little bit cautious on both of those, that we may have run a little bit too far, too fast to the upside.
Okay, so am I wrong to be looking out at that June contract at 98.07 to 98.50? That's kind of our range this morning. Am I kind of wrong to be looking at that, wondering if triple digits are on the way?
It's not out of the question. The market seems to be pricing in some serious optimism, but if I had downside protection that I was worried about, I would be getting it on here. The volatility in the lean hog market has ramped up a little bit over the last week, but still relatively low considering where we've been over the last year. So when volatility is relatively low, that makes options maybe a little bit more affordable and a better way to play it. So I think options are a great way either to hedge downside risk or even as a speculative position to gain some exposure.
All right, we're going to let you run free on the playground here with about a minute left. Any other markets that you're watching? Which one do you want to run to right now?
Oh boy, well, it's going to be a doozy this week, so I hope everyone fastens up their seatbelts and puts their hard hat on. The election and the Federal Reserve meeting; those are two very, very big catalysts that could put a lot of volatility in these markets. And I think you could probably make the case that volatility could go in either direction. So it'll be interesting to see how the market responds. Hopefully, there'll be some opportunities once the dust settles. But we're going to be keeping an eye on interest rates and gold and silver primarily. I think those could potentially be some markets that could potentially be moving back higher.
All right, Oliver Slope, Blue Line Futures. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Okay, quick update.